What's going on, Legionnaires, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you're new to the channel, do me a favor and hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, and make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out. Now, it's Wednesday, which means it's time for some Marvel Comics. And for this video, we're going to be jumping into the King in Black Avengers, issue number 45. Now, the King in Black event, it's pretty much come to a close. And with these last few issues, that's exactly what we're seeing. We're seeing King in Black really wrap up and then moving on to the next thing. Now, if you haven't been keeping up with the King in Black line, go ahead and check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It's going to get you completely caught up in all like 65 something issues that was the King in Black. Now, this is written by Jason Aaron, art is by Luca Marisa, and cover is by Corey Smith. And with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright guys, so this issue picks us up yesterday in New York City. The final battle against Null. And throughout this entire comic, we're getting narrations from Ghost Rider. And he's talking about the Avengers. Now, the Avengers got done taking care of the King in Black issue. They got rid of the god known as Null. And you would think, maybe the Avengers take a day off. They did just get done taking down a freaking god. But that's not the Avengers. That's not what the Avengers do. Because today, at the Arctic Circle at Avengers Mountain, our Avengers are working. From 4:40 a.m. on forward, our Avengers are putting in the work. And as we go through Avengers Mountain, we see all of our Avengers. From Captain America, Captain Marvel, She-Hulk, Tony Stark, a little bit of everybody is what we're seeing. And everybody is putting in the work. Here at the North Pole, farthest from civilization as they can get, they've created kind of their own civilization. And this is where we meet up with Black Panther. Now, Black Panther, he's sitting here training. He's going against his father in a simulation, trying to find every flaw in his fight. Every mistake that he might make, he's practicing time and time and time again. But as Black Panther is going through his training, he finishes it up. And this is when his attention is drawn to the screens. Because on the screens, he's seeing Blade. And as soon as he sees this on his screen, he's getting a phone call. A phone call from Congressman Richmond. And he's letting Black Panther know, this is all his fault. Because the world's greatest mass murderer fell into the hands of Russians and ended up in Chernobyl. And he's really laying into Black Panther. He's telling him straight up, just like all of this is your fault. King in Black, all of it. And now once again, you've made the world more dangerous for law-abiding citizens. Now what they're arguing about is Dracula. And we've seen a little bit of this building up in the Wolverine line. Now Dracula has been working to make his own nation. To make Chernobyl the vampire nation. And this is where we're taken to Chernobyl and we see Dracula giving a speech to the world. Letting the world know that the vampire nation, it fought for them. When the darkest of nights came and everything that they loved was in peril, the so-called King in Black, the vampires stood toe-to-toe, side by side with the world's heroes on the battlefield. And Dracula's smart. He's using all of this as an opportunity. An opportunity to be seen like the mutants are. And he really does play at it how, vampires have been seen as monsters and creatures and things of that nature for so long. They've been hunted and they've been demonized, denied any kind of haven. And this is why we saw Blade on the TV. Because what Dracula is trying to show is that even during the King in Black event, even when they were out there helping everybody, as soon as the battle was over, Blade laid waste to every vampire within his vicinity. And he refers to Blade as a butcher. Someone who is vowed genocide against the vampire nation. And this is where he calls out to all the nation's leaders and tells them, all I ask is for my people to be given the chance, the very freedom they fought for. They want a country of their own, here in the land that they've claimed of radioactive ruins. A nation of vampires, officially recognized by all of the world. Now, this was obviously Dracula's plan all along. More or less, he probably sent those vampires to partner up with Blade specifically so Blade would kill them and he could use this as a publicity stunt to be seen as the victim in the eyes of the world. He wanted sovereignty, and he got it. And on top of that, besides wanting to be recognized by the world, they also have a list of demands. And so obviously, Black Panther, he has to go tell somebody that's not going to be happy about this. He has to go tell Blade. And Blade's response is, you're fucking joking, right? Because not only is he wanting his own nation, but he's demanding a seat at the UN for his son, the Shadow Colonel, the one who Blade cut the head off of. They also want blood deliveries from the Red Cross to feed the starving people, and to release any vampiric political prisoners, including the demonic hellhound that they locked away. You know, and obviously Blade's not on board for any of this, regardless if they aided the world against the fight against Null. But Black Panther tells him, like, you shouldn't have killed those vampires. He's like, what do you expect me to do? Like, I am literally a vampire hunter. And he tells him, you know what, let them have their country. At least I know where to find them now. But Black Panther tells him you can't do that. That would be a declaration of war. A declaration against an officially recognized nation. But Blade's not having it. He's just like, no, it would be a vampire hunter doing what I was literally born to do, and that's to kill vampires. And he tells him, like, if you want to be with the Avengers and do all that, cool. I quit. I'm done with the Avengers. I'm gonna go kill vampires like I'm supposed to do. But Black Panther tells him that there's another option. You know, Dracula's demands, they're gonna be met. But as a king of Wakanda, there's a chance that he can make a few of his own. You know, the first, they're gonna require that they only feed on synthetic blood. But there's also one other thing that Black Panther wants to do, and it wouldn't require Blade leaving the Avengers, at least not permanently. But to do this, they need him. You know, he tells him, you know, it's important for you to do this. You right now, you need to show the world, you need to show your own people they don't have to be like Dracula, that they can be like you, they can be a hero. You know, and you can see the disdain and distaste on Blade's face. But he asks, you know, what would be our last demand? Now this is when we're taken over to Echo, or our new Phoenix. And she has a conversation with Ghost Rider. And really what we're seeing is a great connection and friendship building between these two. Because if anybody understands the Phoenix, it's gonna be the Ghost Rider. You know, the Phoenix and Ghost Rider, they kind of had a kinship, if you will. You know, their partnership, it can date back all the way back to the birth of humans. Though, you know, probably Ghost Rider has been around much longer, at least iterations. They've seen Phoenixes come and go. They've seen Black Panthers come and go. And she asks him, like, how do you keep doing this job? How do you keep doing it when you constantly have that fire inside of you itching to burn? And he lets her know, like, I fight so that my little brother will always be safe. I can't tell you at this point how many times I've saved the world, saved his life. And so I continue to be Ghost Rider. I continue to do what I am doing so I can protect them. And he asks, like, what do you have to fight for? And for her, it's her father's memory. The chance to make up for his sins, as well as her own. Now, this is when we're taken to days later, and Dracula has gotten a shipment of blood. And so, more or less, Dracula is getting what he wants out of this deal. He is definitely coming out on top. But with him becoming part of the United Nations, with him getting this shipment of blood, he can't expect to not have a visit. And this is when we see the Avengers in full sitting at the gates of Dracula's nation, here with the hellhound they captured. And Dracula, he talks to them through the intercom. And with the political prisoner being passed over, Dracula lets them know that the border guards will take possession of the prisoner so that Blade can face vampire justice. But Blade lets him know, you know, that's not why we're here. And Black Panther goes to elaborate that the UN has approved his request for sovereignty, but there's conditions to it. Now, Dracula, making an appearance at the gate, he tells him, you know, I reject your conditions. Because at the end of the day, he feels like this is his country, and if you cross his borders, you're going to be subject to Dracula's will. But Black Panther tells him, you know, Wakanda, we don't see it that way. and the rest of the world agrees with us. And if you want to join the League of Civilized Nations, you need to respect the rules of law and order. Now, this confuses Dracula. He's like, what are you talking about? Like law and order? And that's where Blade steps in, because Blade says, you know, he's talking about me. And Blade lets him know, you know, you got your own nation now, cool, congratulations. You wake up at dusk, who do you think's gonna be the first face you see? And the last one standing over your coffin as it closes. If your people step out of line just one little bit, they're going to be answering to a man who carries the full authority of the Avengers and the United Nations. And this is where Blade reveals that he is the new sheriff of the Vampire Nation. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. This was definitely a twist I didn't see coming. I wasn't anticipating Blade to end up being a sheriff, let alone to agreeing to do this. But I figure Blade sees it as an opportunity to just be where the vampires are when they decide to finally step out of line. Because that's how Blade sees it, and how he'll probably always see it. He will always see vampires as just 1 second away from making a mistake so he can kill them all. And though now it will be declared an act of war if he just started massacring them, if he's already on the island and they mess up, he can just dismantle them right then and there. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see where all of this goes, especially now that they're trying to mess with Wolverine's blood and make themselves into Daywalkers. If you haven't been keeping up with the Wolverine line, go ahead and check that out because it's freaking awesome. I got a playlist for it, so go ahead and check that out. I'll leave a link at the top of this video for you guys. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you have not yet, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and until the next breakdown.